everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, X-Men Origins Wolverine is meant to be a 2009 superhero film that was meant to focus on the X-Men character Wolverine and meant to be a spin-off and prequel to the X-Men film series. Now, originally, the X-Men Origins series was meant to be a series covering the origins of X-Men characters, but sadly only Wolverine's was done, and there were plans to do one for Magneto that would later be made into X-Men First Class. So the premise of the film is meant to follow Wolverine back in 1845, where he learns from Sabretooth's father that he's his son, and him and Sabretooth are brothers. So over the course of the years, we do see how brothers end up going on the front lines from numerous wars, and we see how over time Sabretooth ends up becoming something far worse, while Wolverine is meant to see the full harms of what he's capable of. And we do see how they are approached by William Stryker in becoming a part of his Team X team. And we do see how, seeing full hand what William Stryker's like, we see how Wolverine leaves, and we see how Wolverine does settle in Canada, where something does tragically happen to his girlfriend, Silver Fox. And of course, we do see how Wolverine ends up getting his adamantium skeleton and him going on Sabretooth, but of course there's more truths about Sabretooth than there is. And I would say the film is kind of alright, but there's a lot of clumsy choices. I think the problem is, I would say, is trying to make Sabretooth and Wolverine brothers, because it seems like they were trying to show them being two of a kind, but following a path, as it's heavily implied that due to Sabretooth's mutation may have made him become more feral and forgetting who Logan was. I know in the comics, a character called Dog Logan was meant to be Wolverine's half-brother. And yeah, a part of it does borrow the comic book story Wolverine the Origin, and I think throwing in Scott Summer and Xavier just doesn't really fit what it was. I think there were intentions to focus more on Wolverine than there was, but got thrown way too out of place. And I know that Silver Fox's sister Emma was meant to kind of be Emma Frost, but got changed into a totally different character. And I would say, at least you can tell, even though Ryan Reynolds knows that X-Men Origins Wolverine butchered Deadpool's character, I think you can tell he still tries his best at the start, being jokeful and boastful and that. But I think the point of him becoming experimented on by Stryker was just meant to show you what could have happened had Wolverine become fully experimented on. But I think, yeah, having his mouth closed shut and that was just meant to be a kind of ironic but kind of poetic thing, as Wade talked too much but ended up being shut up forever. And I kind of feel having Stryker revealed to be the villain all along and Silver Fox helping out to save her sister just felt like really poor, clumsy choices. I think there were intentions to help Wolverine in his own origin film, just really bad decisions. I know the old couple that do meet Logan were meant to be Vindicator and his wife, but was meant to be them much older. I think there were intentions to add the two characters in younger, but kind of got thrown away. but I do think some casting choices were perfect. As I do feel, yeah, Liv, the actor who does play Victor Creed, aka Supertooth, really does work, as he's meant to bring out the worst in Wolverine and trying to get him to his darker urges. And I do feel Danny Hudson really does a great job as Stryker, as he really does kind of play this guy who wants to manipulate Logan, but does feel a little too enforced. And I also do feel Kevin Durland really does a great job as the Blob, as he plays this kind of overweight but dangerous mutant. And when we do see him much more bigger years later, it's meant to show how much his mutation had kicked in. And I do feel the actor who does play Gambit really does play this smooth-talking, kind of sleazy con artist. But I do feel, yeah, much like Halloween 3, I do think the X-Men origin films had potential, but it just showed you what could happen if Fox and another studio head can interfere with something that had good intentions. So I think X-Men Origins Wolverine deserves 2 thumbs in the middles. It's alright, despite some clunky, poor decisions and bad choices. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.